Hey, Ace, I said the other day about silver. I think you'll like this. Um, they made the change on the margin requirement because the CME knows silver's going to 150. I didn't even think about 100. Mm-hmm.
Who's ready? I support that plan. I'm all about it.
Yeah, don't stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't stop. Just go, go, go. Straight line.
Up, up, up. Just
Okay,
opposite with
gold does
the.
have a double top on the 5 that we could anchor against on that next move, but I kind of feel like gold's done for the day. Although I definitely think it's going to be fascinating during Davos this week. Lots of price movement I'm expecting on the commodity side.
There's a pop.
Look at that volume kick in.
Yeah, gold
Yeah.
just violated that support. I think we should blame Becky on that, RQ.
Look at that.
I'm too bold.
Amazon's ripping to the upside. Is that what it is, Mr. Positive?
Amazon is ripping on the last 5 minutes.
You know what? Matt's the one who joined and started talking about it.
Double top is in when I joined.
Fine. I'll take the heat.
Oh, that's funny. On Amazon, Mr. Positive, I really, outside of today's volatility, which obviously happened after the market closed on Friday, I mean, all of this was baked in on Friday night.
Annie, be careful.
Like everything was done on Friday night. It was just took obviously with the 3-day weekend, but I actually had Amazon targeted for a swing trade. I really like the pattern going into earnings, and the volatility day certainly did change that a little bit. But you hold here, start building, work above 235. I'm going to do it again. So I'm not in yet on Amazon, but I am looking.
I didn't even look. I even closed those charts, RQ. It wasn't me.
The break was so weak that it came right back up on the 5-minute chart there, RQ.
See?
See, that's my influence, Becky. You were the break. I was the recovery. That's how it works.
Matt pulled it back up.
Yeah,
Pulled out the dirt.
That's how it works.
Come on, Gold. You're my friend. Let's go. Hey, I just like a little volatility. What can I say? Not long or short. I'm not biased. I make friends with everybody.
I do think the most likely scenario on both gold and silver coming into the close is some profit taking, though. Those daily moves have been pretty strong. By the way, VIX is breaking 20 today.
Dang. It's a good catch. That was a big gap down opening up on Sunday, and then the follow through has not been any sort of bullish, so makes sense.
It's still weak across the board.
Yeah.
On the index side. Although, like Russell 2000, RSP, cyclical areas of the market needed a pullback anyways. What didn't need a pullback is tech, and they got butchered on the move today. Honestly, Mr. Positive, Amazon and Google, I really liked both earnings reports last quarter. I would say both of them had stellar quarters, and yet it was Google that took off and Amazon didn't. I would say Google had a better report in general. I would say that with their new TSPs, they're getting a lot of love on the AI side of the equation, but I do think Amazon's undervalued in comparison to what some of the moves we've seen across the board out there. And so that's kind of why I'm looking at Amazon is I think there is a scenario where Amazon is not being priced in the same way some of those other companies have been. And even though they haven't went up since last quarter, like there's been a lot of market stories that kept Amazon down in that time frame. And I was a little surprised they didn't get a bid throughout the entire quarter. They had a really good earnings report, gapped up, ran away, and then didn't sniff a pattern. Like I was a little surprised by it, to be honest with you. Uh, Netflix's earnings are obviously the epicenter of the earnings conversation this week. They're the only major growth company reporting. They're the only company that has been a catalyst in the past, Blas, and so it's certainly a target. And they can they help put a bottom in not just Netflix, which I think would be a very interesting conversation around that 82, 85 area. But can they help put a bottom into the growth side of the equation? I think is a very important part of the analysis. Absolutely. Especially like on the AI side of it. Netflix isn't an AI side, but software companies have been absolutely garbage, like absolutely garbage. You think tech's weak? Semiconductors have absolutely been strong. It's the software companies that are the biggest dog of the entire marketplace right now. Oh, IGV is a disaster of a disaster chart right now. And, it doesn't even matter what software, like you can talk about Microsoft, you can talk about Pathlight. It doesn't matter the market cap. They're all weak right now because the strength of the AI trade is not in the companies that are spending money on the capex side. It's really going to where that money's flowing. Google, Nvidia, the semiconductors are getting a lot of the love, but those software companies have been grotesque. And I certainly think there's going to be a bottom on the software side. And if it's 20% lower, fantastic. If it's 30% lower, even better. Like I'm going to be hunting good software companies after this bloodbath because the market's down quite a bit today. Software's getting destroyed for the last 3 months. Like it's not a today conversation. So, and I do think they need good earnings, Mr. Positive. Like it's earnings that's going to turn this ship around. It's earnings that's going to be the catalyst that changes this ship. And when we start getting those major companies like Netflix, which will have a little bit of impact on the software side of the equation, that's what's going to propel this turnaround, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, macro sucks, but like earnings is still and always will be the real story. Oh, I can get a little detailed there, apple bottom jeans.
Apple bottom jeans.
Sometimes a little too detailed, but I do like the detail.
It helps. It paints a picture.
Just don't get me started on the geopolitical side of Davos this week. I won't stop. It's the dumbest thing I've seen in a while. I usually get cranky in Davos week anyways. The elites of the world getting together to puppeteer how they're going to work with the masses of the year. Like I always get a little cranky on Davos week, but this year's specifically kind of dirty. Lots of geopolitical chatter, obviously. Who said ES at 6,800? Because I agree. Like epicenter of support, 5. Yeah, I agree. I don't have an opinion where the current price is. There's no support where the current price is on the ES. It can certainly build, and I'd be interested in a support build, but support builds at key catalysts are always going to be a little bit more important, and obviously a little bit easier to navigate there. Could the market be done at 68.30, for example, and could we be seeing the ultimate short-term reversal playing out on the intraday side of the equation? Maybe. But I'm not going to wake up to that conversation while we're underneath the 15-minute 9 EMA and we haven't caught a bid all day long. So for me, and I am a little bit different. I'm a little bit of a longer duration day trader, not a scalper, but where my opinion is, like I have a major opinion technically between the 67.75 level and the 6,800 level. Intraday, that starts at 6,800. Ultimately, the zone on the daily chart is 6,800 to 67.75. I'm very interested in reversal analysis on the bull side of the equation at those levels. But like at 68.30, I still think this is a bear control situation until we start working into those lower levels of support. So as a bull, I'm trying to be patient here in the market and not try to, because I know we're going to get a massive rally at some point. Don't know where, don't know when. It's going to be geopolitical driven, in my opinion, this week. But I do have an opinion at the 67.75 to 6,800. That's that zone on the ES where I'm like, okay, you want to be textbook, you want to be cookie cutter. Let's get to that zone and let's see a nice little double bottom, double top, and let's get into that apple bottom jeans conversation. I like it. Yeah, and they can have that, but until a catalyst emerges, I just kind of feel like every rally is going to met with swift resistance. By the way, Bitcoin makes me sad today.
Actually had a nice turn last week. Bitcoin.
Yeah, so good. It triggered me on the breakout. Just get stumped out today. Loved it. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Mm.
Fake out.
5. I had a swing trade I entered in last week. Got stopped out today. So I just had a swing trade. It wasn't any major play. Oh no. I've done this long enough. I don't get too sad on getting stopped out. That's why we have stop losses. Don't get me wrong. You always rather see it work out. And I did love the analysis. Like I hunted this Bitcoin trade. I thought it was pure. But got stopped out. Happens.
Gotta be able to take a hit, then be in this game.
Yeah, yes, indeed. Losing is part of the game sometimes.
It's easier to get stopped out on Bitcoin when you have silver and gold. Happens to everybody.
Part of the
We're
game.
down north of 2% right now.
Yes. 2.1% to be exact. On ES, 2.17 on NQ.
Half an hour left.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Which way are we going? We dipping further? Or we're gonna rip and catch a little bit here and end the day?
I don't see them. It seems like there's a little momentum of the bulls trying to fight here.
Yep.
Who's that guy? They're trying anyway.
Bulls, let's do this. Come on, let's go, Bulls. Send it. Hook this thing up. Let's go.
That's the energy.
Yeah, man, that's kind of what my thoughts are. I do think a rip occurs, and that's why I'm like, I don't think it's happening today. I think we could get a little pump here.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I
Yeah.
do think there is a rip that happens at some point in the next, say, 24 to 48 hours. I don't know if it's on the overnight session tonight or tomorrow's cash open, but like that's why I'm like, okay, let's get it to a zone that we can, be a little bit more aggressive then. But I'm right there with you on that one. I certainly believe that there will be a rip here.
Go. $16.50 is a little high. Always up there for now, but we'll see. Don't have a ton of time left today.
Yeah, I just want to see a little end of D bounce, That's all I'm looking for.
Yeah. She's trying to give it to us. Oh.
Yeah. Maybe not.
Come on.
And just like that, kapooey. Womp womp.
Wah.
I'm a trick.
After hours earnings, we'll see, LP.
Yeah. This now.
No, 5. Don't do that. Good. She's playing though. She's just dancing. Little algo scalps down here.
Oh. My anxiety's all riled up with this end of day.
Ooh, look at that green. Nice work, Mr. Positive. Interactive Brokers earnings. Okay. What's their ticker, Matt?
IBKR is interactives.
Mm-hmm.
I think you were asking the other Matt.
I mean, either Matt.
yeah.
You're quick
See,
on the
the
draw
thing
there.
about Matt's can answer any question. So
Matt's know all things.
That's why 1/3 of the entire world population is named Matt.
So was my first husband, not gonna lie.
You too, as well, apple bottom jeans.
Good to see you, my friend. You have a good afternoon. Thanks for swinging by, brother.
You guys have a great day. Don't go too far, everyone, though, because today's Tuesday. So we got
That's
psychology
true.
lab.
Psych lab.
Yep. It's that day.
Well, it is Taco Tuesday as well.
And Taco Tuesday. It's a great
Oh
day.
my God.
I'm
It's
hoping
Taco
with Taco
Tuesday.
a little bit in the market today. The market hasn't caught a bid since Trump said we're going to take Greenland.
Well, I think the worst thing is that he said that he was going to impose tariffs on anybody that opposes the deal.
And then the Supreme Court cowardly came out today and said they're not ready to rule. It's almost like they're talking to one another right now.
They're being manhandled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
it's
more
amazing.
uncertainty in the market, obviously.
That's amazing to me too, because when you think about the macro environment right now, the flaw in the market is that we're dealing with slight valuation issues right now. I'm not talking geopolitics, Trump, anything like that. I'm just talking about from a pure fundamental perspective. We're starting the year off on a slight elevated valuation. This is the second highest valuation market we've ever started off with. The first was all the way back in the .com era. So slight elevation right now in the market, but you also, to deal with that slight elevation, you also have a GDP environment that's north of 4%. You have a blended EPS growth rate in the S&P 500 that's going to be north of 12, 13, maybe even 14% this quarter. That will be the sixth consecutive quarter of double-digit EPS growth out of the S&P 500, which is outstanding. Last time we did that, 30% market year in 2021. And yet the market's on a no bid environment today because of geopolitics. Like it's truly amazing when you think about it. This market fundamentally, in my opinion, should be like 74, 7,500.
A lot of factors that don't make exact a sense how they should.
No, the mixing of politics and markets usually does not go good.
Right.
I think Adam
True.
Smith said that in The Wealth of Nations.
Ugh. All right, 20 minutes left. We're gonna hold and pop a little, or doesn't seem like it's doing it.
Yeah, I agree with you about that, Coach Matt. I think unfortunately, politics bring such a uncertainty to the market and influence that, the Fed can't account for any of that stuff.
No, it's hard enough to account for the inflationary environment and trying to maximize labor while controlling prices. Those are tough jobs to do. You throw a bunch of other geopolitical variables into that mix, it becomes impossible to project. And when you can't project price, the path of least resistance is down. Period. End sentence. Which means the market needs to hear something to change this. Can it come from earnings? Absolutely, it can come from earnings, but there's not a major earnings until we get to tomorrow.
Yep.
GDP report this week, it's a known factor. It's not going to move the needle, in my opinion. You got manufacturing PMI numbers later this week. I mean, all of these are important economic data that have the ability to move the market, but not in an environment where the president literally said to a question today, what's your plans? Are you removing military action from Greenland? And he says, you'll find out. Like, that's an uncertainty that the market does not want to deal with.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Broke a new low.
Yep. It looks like we broke those prior. We're still wicking into those Tuesday lows. Oh, well, today's lows. Yeah. Wow.
The next two levels of what I would describe of importance where you could expect development are 6,800 and 6,775. Both those two levels have historical value to them. You better hold 67.75 because under that level, oh, it's quick to 6,600.
Yeah, my 4 hour levels on NQ are pretty wide on these levels below. When we break them, you'll have a significant area to dip below further.
Yeah, there's some open air between that 67.75 and that 66. I mean, there's other levels there. But in terms of major levels, not like you have some at 66.50, a double wick bottom, for example. You got a double bottom major pivot at 6,600. So like legitimately the levels right now on the hourly forecast chart are 6,800, 67.75, 66.50, and 6,600. As you get underneath 67.75, it opens up quite a bit. Like, yeah, it is about 175 point range there.
Yep. It'll be pretty ugly to drop.
Like once the tariff situation is alleviated, because it most likely does get alleviated. I mean, that is the story from last year. We could see a violent rip, but patience, I think, is required here. Yeah, it should work to about 93 again on silver. It's not a great look on the 15. A lot of the damage silver did was over the weekend, obviously. I got it forming up a high base on the daily chart, by the way, Ace.
It's pretty simple. If you look at the underlying assets, like let's look at the heat map for a moment, right? This is the S&P 500. If you want something more narrowed down, let's look at NASDAQ. When you look at all these overall tickers here and you see that they're all in agreement. They're all red, and you have various topics of, politics that are affecting these industries, with, chips, tariffs, energy issues with, data centers, all those different things, they kind of give you that's what's going to give you the trend, and show you the overall look. And you start zooming on them and you start seeing that these, they're losing momentum. They're selling off from their highs. You have that thesis of the general direction of the market. That's what we're seeing. It's bearish, and we don't have any earnings for those companies coming up right now. We have other companies that may possibly give you that momentum back up to the upside. But without one of the Mag 7, it really makes it difficult for like NASDAQ in particular to move up. You might see the small caps, whereas then you want to look at the Russell and the Dow, And those might give you, and you know what? That's a good point. If you stop and look at it when NASDAQ is choppy, you should look at the Russell or even look at the Dow, because you might even find a smoother trend there to trade and not get chopped up.
I agree with that. I think IWM, the Russell and RSP equal weighted index of the S&P needed to pull back anyways. They're pulling back against strength. ES and Q selling off against weakness.
Okay, so what you're describing there is just market structure. So you're seeing it, but maybe for some odd reason you're not kind of recognizing, like on a higher time frame, what's happening. So if frame it in the right mindset. You already have called it. We were bullish in the morning and then bearish in the afternoon. So in the morning you made a higher high, and in the afternoon you made a lower low, right? So now you need to look for what's going to happen for the next segment of the market. You know, it's not when we're doing analysis and then you start looking back in the chart and having hindsight on the chart, look at what the chart has done. Then reflect on, okay, now the structure is here. What is the likelihood for like the 15-minute, right? Let's look at the 15-minute and start drawing it out. Okay, so then more probable, we don't have a lot of time left in the day, right? So now you got end of day coming up. So it's going to break the structure. It's going to create a timeout in the market that the market's going to have a breather and most likely won't continue down. When the Sydney opens, because you only have an hour and a half left, most likely we can have is that bounce up. But then you start looking, well, where do we putter out? Will we take out that further high? You know, you just start looking at market structure. You know, I think sometimes you can have analysis paralysis by looking at too many things when really you just have to look at the structure of the market. And that's usually what happens. If we can't break out, the market will consolidate and then dip into a lower low. And then towards the end of the day, bounce up into a mean average. And then think of it even wider. On a normal day, our standard deviation is what, 0.5%, right? We don't have some astronomical move normally. So like a day today that we're down 2%, that's the anomaly. That's the outlier, right?
A 2% day, yeah, it is an outlier. Yeah, starting to slow down as we come into the close today.
Mm-hmm. It says that we broke a trend line on the hourly. All right, let's take a look at the 1 hour. You know, I'm afraid you're right. Unless like the bearish cycle, maybe even just we may not be done with it.
NQ's working on a double bottom right now.
Mhm.
25-1. Yes, does seem a little weaker than that.
Yeah, it might get saved by the bell, but that's not for sure. Funny, that's like Monday's low. Monday's low on NQ is at 2509.95. All right.
My thoughts on gold are really simple. Blas, I mean, in the world of chaos, the number one instrument in world history is gold. Now, how do you navigate that? There's a lot of different ways to navigate that, but every day since I joined Blue Sky 9 months ago, I've said people should own gold. Same as silver. I think you should have a core position in both of them, and I think you should touch it, and then you can navigate the day trading, intraday swing trading side of the conversation. But I believe the first thing to do is get a core position in both of those. I've believed that for a very, very, very long time. And nothing over the last 15 years has changed that core belief. I doubt anything can happen in the world to change that core belief. There's a lot of reasons that I have that core belief. Not going to go into all the detail here, but every month, every quarter, every year that goes by, that core belief strengthens, not weakens. Blas, I believe we're at the last stage of the currency system known as the fiat currency model. I believe that we are seeing an evolution in front of our, and people are not understanding, not positioned, not protected to go through that evolution. But we are seeing the destruction of the fiat currency system that has dominated the marketplace for the last 60 years, 55, 60 years. Remember, the fiat currency system is only 50 years old. Before that, we were a peg system to commodities for thousands of years. So we'll see if their imaginary fake money system will ultimately succeed. We're seeing it fail. So ultimately, the question is what replaces it.
I love. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I enjoy these conversations so much with you guys because it's such an interesting topic that not a lot of people are, not a lot of normal air quotes people are having these conversations.
No,
concerning.
no, they're not. And
No.
that's why they will be unprepared. And that's why they were not prepared to take advantage of gold the last 6,000 years, honestly. I like to be called weird, Omar. I take it as a badge. I take it as a badge of honor.
I love me some magic internet money.
By the way, I don't even think those decisions need to be made. I think those decisions have already been made. We are watching the Japanese currency implode. The Japanese currency will die. It's just a matter of time.
Wow.
There's no debate on that. Like, can anybody tell me right now what edition of the, because it's not the first.
What
The
edition
first
of what?
died. The second edition of the dollar died. The third edition of the dollar died. We're on the fourth edition of the dollar. What happened to all the money that was dominated in currency when a currency dies? It either gets converted or it dies. And usually it gets converted into fractions of value. Brazil did it 3 times in the 90s, by the way. This is not an abnormal conversation. Currencies die all the time. They just don't happen to the reserve currency. That's why we haven't felt it in the States. It's exactly right, man. They get diluted by 98% of the value, or and they get converted into the new currency. Go look at the German Mark I. When it died, it converted into the German Mark II. That died, and they had to kill the currency. Same thing in Lebanon, same thing. Like, there's every African country. The latest is obviously, what's the one? Oh, they had $1 trillion bill. Zimbabwe. They went through it. South Africa's went through it. China's went through it. Russia's, Europe's went through it. Like, we've went through it. We just don't have that current understanding because in most people's life, they haven't had to deal with this in the U.S. because the U.S. has been that reserve currency of note. Things are changing. So, like, I literally could talk about this, and that's why I always just come back with the world has lost their collective mind from a fiscal responsibility perspective, and you should own gold and silver long term. That's the epicenter of the belief in gold and silver. There's a core position that I will never, ever, ever get out of, ever. And by the way, I just don't believe in digital ownership. I believe in physical ownership. Oh, I like those deep gold conversations, though. I believe, Omaro, the phrase is cash flow is king. Cash is king is not the answer. Cash is actually the problem.
You can tell this isn't your first day with this conversation, Matt. You've definitely got some wisdom you've amassed. It's great.
Ooh.
Time for
Becky's
Netflix
coming
earnings.
up 3 doors down here soon, team.
Right. Y'all can keep me posted in the comments of my psych lab about the Netflix earnings, okay?
Yeah.
Definitely. And ding, 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 there's your bell.
I'll see you guys down there in a minute. We'll see what happens with Netflix.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with Netflix. And God bless us all. And thanks, Coach Becky, for hanging with us for Power Hour. Don't forget, Coach Becky's class is just 3 doors down, starting right about now. So make sure you stop in. For all our friends on the intrawebs, you can find those links to the Discord in the chat description listed below.
Netflix, I think, Blas, is going to be pretty soon. On the chart, they have it scheduled for the earnings conference call in an hour. But we should get the numbers pretty soon, I'd say. Where do you get your earnings numbers? I use Earnings Whispers, by the way. Earnings Hub? Yeah. All right, I'm heading over to Becky. We can continue over there.
You got it. Thanks, Coach Matt, for popping in for Power Hour. And thanks to everyone again. Don't forget, we've got Coach Breezy on at 7 p.m. Eastern with his trading class, and Coach BluSky on at 8 p.m. Eastern. Again, those links are in the chat description below for all our friends on the intrawebs. For my friends in Discord, hey, thanks, everybody. We had a great audience today. Hope to see everyone there tomorrow. Don't forget, Mike will be back with more of that awesome price action and hopefully another, over 20K. Yeesh. Get those accounts. We got those 50% off welcomes for new account holders. So take advantage of that. And I think we got a 50 off sale. Yeah, we got the 50 off sale on Volumetrica. So check those sales out going on now. All right, team, from all of us at Blue Sky, you all have yourself a great day. And as always, good luck in the market.